OMG, you guys. Before we get into the episode, there are just a few things I just want to clarify with you. Don't click away. Hold on. Stay right here. Most of the people who watch me are not subscribed. Look at the little analytical here. Do you see that? Sad to me because the people who are not subscribed can't get notifications when I post. And you know what I think? You shouldn't be on social media that much. So click that little subscribe button for me and click that bell icon so you can hear, you get a little notification when I post. Okay? Please, for me. Also, if you like what I say, you love what I say, and you want me to continue, please consider buying me a tea. I have in the description a little place. It's Buy Me a Coffee. It's like early 2000s thing. If you love what I say, anything you could give, even a view would be appreciated. But if you could give me just a little tea, I can justify continuing this. Thank you, and enjoy the episode. What's poppin', homies? If you clicked on this video, that means you are suffering from intrusive thoughts. Now, hold on now. Intrusive thoughts can be quite damaging because they can lead us to a place where we don't belong. A deep, dark place inside our brain that alters the way that we think and gives power to these thoughts that we would essentially not have. So, just like in my other episode, if you're having intrusive thoughts that have spiraled out of control, you might be suffering from a panic episode, a panic attack, if you will. So for just a moment, take in the scenery. And we're going to do breathing exercises together, okay? Now, it's really important to take control of your breathing because likely if you are suffering from a panic episode or a panic attack, chances are you're having trouble controlling your breathing. There's a squirrel right there. I don't have food, dog. Anyway, taking control of your breathing is the most important thing that you can do for an episode. So let's do this together, okay? To take control of your breathing, we're going to count off, breathing in with our nose and out with our mouth. This will slow down our heart rate because we all know that our heart rate can go fast when you're having a panic episode, and that's okay. So this is what we will do. We'll breathe in with our nose. In. For this many counts. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it for a second. Take note of the breath that you're inhaling. It's important. This breath, it carries a lot of life for you. Figure out this purpose, okay? Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale. After holding, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do this for a few times, okay? I want you to breathe in, hold, and then out on my count. Are you ready? Okay. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4. Once you've done that as many times as you need and you've grounded yourself, you can replay that as many times as you need. But now, if you're ready, we can continue. Now, what is an intrusive thought? Well, intrusive thoughts are thoughts that arise with no... How can you explain? They are not yours. They are random thoughts that you have. that have no bearing on who you are, and they hold no truth. They have no power unless you give it to them. An intrusive thought is not a thought of your own, because they're intrusive. They have the name intrusive because they're intruding in on the thoughts that you typically have. And this can be damaging because up till now, we know that all of our thoughts that come in our mind are ours because they are in our mind. They are our thoughts. But not every thought deserves power, and not every thought is true. Say, for example, you have an intrusive thought while you're cutting some fruit and you want to cut your finger off. Now, I don't exactly remember where I heard this, so please, that is a risk assessment, right? That is understanding that with the thing that you have, the terrible thing that is happening, that is just alerting your mind to what could happen. So an intrusive thought is it's basically saving yourself and preparing yourself for something that could bad happen, potentially. Now, and humans are fun. Oftentimes, this intrusive thought is kind of batshit crazy. And these intrusive thoughts, they're intrusive because they're not things that we usually think. Crazy things, like what if I drive my car off this ledge, or this, that, and the other, or doing terrible things with your or to your partner, or to your loved ones. Like, what would happen if I beat the shit out of them right now? These thoughts are terrible, yes, but they don't dictate who you are. It only shows, an intrusive thought shows how caring and careful you are. So what do you do when you're having spiraling out of control intrusive thoughts? Well, taking control over your thoughts is important. And it might seem impossible to take control of an intrusive thing because it intrudes. You don't control that it's there. So I guess understanding the thought itself and kind of releasing the cloak on the thought is what will give it less power, because the power that you give these thoughts is what they're going to run with. And let me tell you, they truly, let's just say, they run with it. They do. But absolutely, if you're watching this and you're having intrusive thoughts, please take good care of your brain and your thoughts and your mind, because they're very delicate. I mean, you looked up this video, you clicked on this video, you're having intrusive thoughts right now. And they've probably put you in a terrible state of mind. But understanding the origin of these thoughts and how these thoughts can come into your mind, that's the first step in understanding. That's the first step in diminishing an intrusive thoughts. Now, there might be some of you who are neurodivergent, such as those people with OCD, ADHD. These people are more prone to intrusive thoughts. So my heart truly goes out to you people. Truly goes out to you people who are struggling with that. I have ADHD, and I have an inner monologue 24/7. I have thoughts in my mind that come up that aren't right. They aren't my thoughts. And we people are more susceptible to things like that. We're more susceptible to the intrusive thought. So really taking control of your mind will absolutely make a world of difference, especially for people with anxiety, OCD, ADHD. My heart goes out to you people, all of you folks who struggle with mental illness. But I can't stress this enough, and I will say it over and over again, that it is up to you. The initial thought is not up to you. The initial thought comes without warning. And the initial thought can shock you to your core. I've had terrible intrusive thoughts. They've really damaged me. And I wish I could shut it off. But the neglecting of those emotions and the putting aside of those intrusive thoughts only make them scream louder later. It's kind of like you can't sweep that shit under the rug. You gotta squash its power now, because if you let it hide under the shadows, it festers, and it gets angrier and angrier, and it shouts louder and harder and more clearly. The thought, it rings in your mind. So you really need to revoke the thought of this power. Do not give it the same privilege of your other thoughts that are beautiful and the thoughts that are genuinely yours. They don't deserve the same power because they are not the same quality thought. To think that your thoughts are all of the same is disingenuous to your thought process. You are not a bad person. Say it with me. I am not a bad person. I don't think these thoughts willingly. And it will go through time. Everyone has these thoughts. And it ruins them all. So much so you can't be comfortable with your own inner monologue or your brain or your thoughts. It's terrible. It truly is terrible. But you always need to be there for yourself. And you need to help yourself. Because being passive about your problems only makes them worse. Being present in your issues, being present in your thought processes, only make it better. Coming to terms with thoughts, coming to terms with actions, coming to terms with your feelings. It's truly magnificent what can happen to yourself if you're really forthfront in your character, in not taking the back burner on your own life. That is terrible. Do never take the back burner on your own life. That is your life to live, and that is you who needs to step up to the plate. Because I promise to you, I really do, no one's going to do it for you. Nobody. And that's okay. Because there's beauty in the individual. And there's beauty in actually being able to have thoughts. That's how I look at it. Is that there's so much preciousness and beauty that comes with having thoughts, having an imagination. But when your imagination is wild, just make sure the ones that you don't associate with, making sure those thoughts that you don't associate with, make sure you tell them off. Make sure you say it out loud to yourself. I don't accept you. You are not of my own thought. You are ruining my thought processes. You are ruining my kingdom. The body is a fortress. The body is a kingdom. The body is a sanctuary for those who work together. And when a part of that doesn't work together, it doesn't deserve to live in the community. It doesn't deserve to thrive. Don't give evil thoughts a place to thrive, because they are not for you. There's a lot of who you are that supports you, and there's a lot of who you are that will always have your back. But what one thing that will never have your back is the terrible intrusive thought that tells you to kill somebody you love or to do something terrible to yourself. They are not for you. They will never support you. Let the thoughts that genuinely help you, let the thoughts that genuinely support you take control, and tell yourself, this is not right. This is not who I am. This is not me. I am a person who is loving and caring and would never do something terrible to the ones that I love, the world that I love, and myself who I love very much. And if you don't love yourself, stick around. Because maybe, and just maybe, I could change your opinion. This has been an episode of Stav's True Plan. The birds, bees, leaves, and trees, they're all in harmony together. That's from Infinite Waters, if you guys know. You should watch him. Soak in this beautiful weather. Take a rainy day and make something out of it. I wanted to record with the sun. I wanted to record with beautiful nature. But who's to say that a little bit of rain, it just adds a little bit of ambiance. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, this has been an episode of Stav's True Plan. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And see you guys next week. I love you guys. Kisses.